Okay, find the product. Okay, so you got 1x minus 4 times 1x plus 9. Actually, get those 1's out of there. Minus and plus. Now, obviously, we can't take x and minus 4. We don't know what x is. We can't take x and add 9. We don't know what x is. But to multiply it, you do the FOIL, which we've talked about before. Now, the x's don't have coefficients in front. They don't need them. We take x times x, and then x times 9, positive 9, and then you go to negative 4 and do the same thing. Negative 4 times x, negative 4 times 9. So here we just have two unknown factors of x. It means it's x to the second. Okay? And then 9x, and then negative 4x, and then negative 36. So remember how this works. X second your highest degree, plus x plus constant. So x second would be a 1 if you want to have it. And the x is 9 plus negative 4 is 5. And the constant's negative 36. Now, next problem, same thing. X, we don't know x, minus 7, x minus 4. Okay? So x times x times negative 4. A minus means that number is multiplied as a negative. Negative 7 times x, and then negative 7 times negative 4. If it's got a minus, it has a negative value when you multiply. So x second, negative 4x, negative 7x, and then positive 28. So x second, you can put a 1 in front if you want a coefficient. So it'd be 1x second, add those, negative 11, and add those 28. What we're doing today is getting from here back to here. Now, there's two parts to this. You're doing the same thing. The last part, you need to actually solve an equation using the method. Factor the expression. Factoring means you want to end up with two parentheses, okay? That's what that means. You're not putting equals 0. There's no equals. You can't solve for x if there's no equals. So don't put x equals down there. This is going to be the answer on the directions that say factor the expression. Okay, so now I see three terms. Okay, now we talked about yesterday how to factor binomials. What about trinomials? This is a trinomial. It's got three terms now. Well, a trinomial, we're at least going to check for a GCF. Then after that's done, we're going to make a big long box. We're going to split it in half, and we're going to make a table here. Okay? Table. Okay, so here's your three terms. You don't have equals, so that's why I'm not putting x equals. This is my answer right there. I got to find out what two parentheses multiply to 1x second plus 10x plus 6. Now you check your last term, there's no x, so we will not be factoring out an x. You check your first term, there's no negative. Now 1, 10, and 16, okay? 1, 10, so those are only in the first row, all three of them together. You got to look at all three of them now in a trinomial. Only place I see the 1, the 10, and the 16 is in the very first row. Guys, if 1's a GCF, you don't do it, because dividing it by 1 doesn't change anything. Now, here's how I do a trinomial. I label this A, this B, this C. And you are always going to put a number up top. It's whatever your A times C is. A times C. 1 times 16. 1 times 16 is positive. Okay, it's a positive 16. When it's a positive, I'm trying to come up with two numbers that multiply to positive 16. Now, if it's positive, the signs would have to match. Okay? So, put in two negative signs. You can put in two negatives or two positives. They just have to match. Now, the factors have to add to what your B is, which is positive 10. Just put positive 10 there. Okay, now find factors of 16. How do you do that? Well, you take 16 and start dividing. Okay? So I take 16. First I divide it by 1. So that 1 and 16 form a factor pair. 1 and 16, the number I divided by and my answer. But add those, now add those, that's negative 17. I need it to be positive 10. Out. Now after 1 comes 2. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So put 2 with 8. That's your pair. Now if I take negative 2 plus negative 8, that's negative 10, but I need positive 10, okay? Now you can stop dividing, okay? You found the right factor pair, you just need to make it into positive 10. Well, I just changed both the signs, positive, positive. They still match, don't they? Yeah, okay? Now 2 plus 8 is 10. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make 2 parentheses on this assignment today. I will, for those of you who I had, the class of 2024, I will get to the 4 when I need it, okay? Okay, so you put in the 2 mystery numbers you found on your table, and then I want you to put A equals 1x to the second, okay? There's A, 1x, not what you're adding to, what your A is. Now, x second, we always convert that into x times x. And the A coefficient is 1, okay? So circle that. So put 1s in front. You're always going to put that number in front. But if you have 1s, quickly take them away because you don't need them. So x plus 2, x plus 8. That's your answer. Now, let's prove why that's right. If I do the FOIL method here, just watch. That's x to the second, that's 8x, that's 2x, and that's 16. So, x second, x constant. So x second is 1. X, you have 2 of those, which you combine by adding. That's 10. And then 16. That's exactly what we started with, so I did this correctly. That's me checking that this is the right answer. Okay. I'm not going to require you to do that, but yeah. Okay, next one. Your 2 parentheses are the answer we're looking for. Okay, 3 terms. Trinomial. These are all trinomials in this assignment today. I'll check for the GCF. You want to get in the habit of doing that. Then I do a table. There's no x on the end. There's no negative in the front. 1, 13, and 36. Well, the only row 1's in is 1. Okay, so can't do that. ABC. I take the A times the C. What's 1 times 36? 36. And it's positive 36. When I take 1 times 36, it's positive 36. So I have to find 2 factors of positive 36. Well, again, that's a match. The factors have to match. We have to add to what the B is, which is negative 13 this time. Negative 13. So I put in 2 signs that match. Negative, negative. So 36 divided by 1 is 36. That's add those, it's negative 37. That's the wrong pair. Okay. 36 divided by 2 is 18. So you put 2, 18. The number you divided by, the answer you got. That does not adds to negative 20. You're still wide of the mark. 36 divided by 3 is 12. That adds to negative 15. You're still a little bit too wide. 36 divided by 4 equals 9. So I put 4 and 9. Oh, add those, plus them, you're at negative 13. Bingo. Okay. Now put A equals, you're going to want to do that for the future, 1. So your x second, put in the mystery numbers first. So we know x second's x times itself. So we take that 1 and apply it in the front. Okay, if you have a 1 in front, you just drop it, and it's x minus 4 times x minus 9. Okay, next problem, x to the second power minus 7x minus 44. Okay, so put the 2 factors right there. Let's It's a trinomial, so GCF, and then I make my table. So yesterday it was just a binomial, so GCF. You're going to do something else with a two-term binomial, which we'll be learning about in a few lessons down the road. No x, no negative, 1, 7, it's just 1. If 1's the smallest of the coefficient numbers, 1, 7, 44, the GCF's 1, okay? Because those are only together in for every number, every integer's in row 1, okay? So, every whole number. Okay, A times C, 1 times negative 44 is negative 44. Now we have a negative, so the two numbers have to multiply now to a negative. Well, that's not a match then, it's a mismatch. Mismatch means we have positive on one side, negative on the other. And you need to add to try to get to your B, which is negative 7. 44 divided by 1 is 44. That's negative 43 when you add. That's way too wide. 44 divided by 2 is 22. When you add that, that's negative 20. That's way too wide. 44 divided by 3 is a decimal. 45 divided by 4 is 11. So you put 4 with 11. Now if you add 4 to negative 11, oh, negative 7, exactly. Booyah. So put in the mystery numbers. A equals, okay, 1x to the second power. So x second, you rewrite that as x times x. Then your coefficient's a 1. So really those 1's can just drop off the front. And it's x plus 4, x minus 11. Okay, next problem. 3 terms. GCF's 1 on all these, okay. It's going to change tomorrow, but negative in the front, no way. Or no, x on the end, no way. Negative in front, still no way. So 1, so it's just a 1. Anytime the GCF's positive 1, you don't do it. So I take 1 times negative 32. Positive 1 times negative 32. Well, that's negative 32. Now the signs have to we have to multiply the two numbers to a negative 32. Okay? So that's a mismatch. We know that right away. So it's positive, negative. And we have to add to get to the B. Positive 14. 1 and 32, that adds to negative 31. That's way too wide. Now divide 32 by 2, it's 16. Okay. Now if I add those, that's negative 14. So that's the right pairing. We just need to go make it positive 14. Well, you switch the signs, trade places. Positive, negative. You switch both the signs, and now that adds to positive 14. They still mismatch, don't they? Yes. Okay, so A is 1x to the second. So it's x times x. X is second, so it's x times itself. Then you apply this 1 in front. Now I'm going to talk to you real briefly. The numbers in front of the x's, 1 and 1, should multiply to what's in front of the x to the second. Okay? 1 times 1 is 1. The numbers behind the x's, negative 2 and 16, should multiply to the c, the constant. And they do. Negative 2 times 16 is negative 32. So that's right. I end up taking the 1's off. So it's x minus 2, x plus 16. Okay, next problem. So 3 terms. GCF and the table. There's no variable on the end. There's no negative in the front. 1, 3, and 28 is 1. Okay? So positive 1 times negative 28. That's negative 28. Okay? So it has to be a mismatch if you have a negative up there. So positive, negative. That's what a mismatch is. It has to add to our b coefficient, which is negative 3. 28 divided by 1 is 28. That's negative 27. 28 divided by 2 is 14. Add those, it's negative 12. Way too wide. Now, 28 divided by 3 is a decimal. If it's a decimal, you skip it. It doesn't even go on the table. 28 divided by 4 is 7. You add 4 to negative 7, you're at negative 3. Boom. Okay. So you put in the mystery numbers that you just found, and your a, the x second, is 1. So x times x. And you just take that 1 and apply it. Okay, again, make the numbers in front of the x is 1 and 1. Take 1 times 1 in your head, it's 1. That should be what's in front of x second. Numbers behind the x is 4 times negative 7 is negative 28, so we did it right. Okay, so x plus 4, x minus 7. And they also have to add to negative 3, because you'd end up with x second, negative 7x, positive 4x, which is negative 3x. Okay, x is second plus 10x plus 21. So, trinomial. So, GCF. And the table. Okay, so no x, no negative, it's just 1. 1 times 21 is 21, positive 21. Okay, so that's a match. Okay, now that it's positive, the signs have to match. You can put double negative or double positive as long as they match. You have to add to positive 10. Okay, so 21 divided by 1 is 21. That adds to negative 22. That's way wide. 21 isn't even divisible by 2, so skip that. 21 divided by 3 is 7. Now, if that's the right pairing, because those add to negative 10, I just need to make them positive 10. It's easy to do. You change both the signs to the opposite. Now it's positive 10. They still match. It's good. Positive 3, positive 7, and a, of course, is 1x to the second. So xx, you can place the 1 in front. Make sure the numbers in front of the x's multiply to what's in front of the x squared. They do. Numbers behind the x's, 3 and 7, should multiply to 21, which they do. So take the ridiculous 1's off, and it's x plus 3 times x plus 7. It's like you're doing the opposite of the FOIL. Okay, x to the second plus 2x minus 15. So there's 3 terms. So it's GCF, greatest common factor, and then the table. There's no x there, there's no negative there. 1, 2, and 15 are only in row 1. Okay. Okay, remember we're trying to get the 2 parentheses. So 1 times negative 15 is negative 15. Negative means it's a mismatch. So you put positive on one side, negative on the other. They're like, how do you know? Just put them, guess where they're at the beginning. You can switch them to the opposite later. 15 divided by 1 is 15. That's negative 14. That's wrong. 15 divided by 2 is a decimal. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So 3 goes with 5. Add those, that's negative 2. So I got the right pair, it's just got the wrong sign. So I make the 5 plus and the 3 negative. So negative 3, positive 5, and a is 1x to the second up there. So I know x second is x times itself. And then the 1 goes in front of each of your x's. Numbers in front of the x's, 1 times 1 is 1, that's your x squared. Negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. If 1 times 1 doesn't match your a, it's wrong. If negative 3 times 5 doesn't match your c, it's wrong. But it does. Wouldn't be making this video if it didn't. I think I'm going to make a video where I screw up. Okay, x to the second minus 18x plus 45. So you got three terms, A, B, C. Well, I jumped the gun on that. First GCF, we'll do the ABC. You're supposed to do the ABC when you get to your table. No x, no negative, it's 1, okay? 1 times 45 is 45, positive 45. So that means the signs that I need to multiply to 45 need to match. Either put double negative or double positive. Since we have to add to a negative, they're probably going to stay double negative. 45 divided by 1 is 45. That's negative 46. That's way too wide. 45 divided by 2 is a decimal. 3 and 15. Negative 18. So A is 1x to the second. So x times x. By the way, here's the parentheses. And then we just take that 1 and apply it in front of the x's. Again, the 1 times the 1 in front of the x's should be this. The negative 3 times negative 15 should be 45. Take the 1's off. So it's just x minus 3 times x minus 15. Okay, now you're going to solve some equations. Now the directions change. You're solving the equation. You're going to do the same thing, but you have an equation to solve. So remember, when we solve equations, make an answer box, a solution box, and write what you have for x's. You have x second and x, so you're going to have to apply factoring properties. So factoring properties, you make sure you're equal to 0. If you are, you check it. Then you count how many terms. Now you have 3, not 2. So you go GCF and table. And we're going to line up the same parentheses. We're just going to put equals 0 behind the parentheses. So there's no x, there's no negative. 1, 3, and 40, the GCF's 1. So that's worthless. Okay, 1 times negative 40. That's a negative 40. So how do two numbers multiply to a negative? They mismatch. Means one of them's positive, one of them's negative. I don't care if you put positive, negative, or negative, positive, but they need to mismatch. You're adding to try to get to the B, which is negative 3. 1 and 40 is negative 39. That's not even close. 40 divided by 2 is 20. That's negative 18. Still way wide. 40 divided by 3 is a decimal. 40 divided by 4 is 10. 4 plus negative 10 is negative 6. You're still wide, but you're getting closer. Getting there. 40 divided by 5 is 8, so 5 and 8. 5 plus negative 8 is negative 3. Signs are right. Okay. Okay. Put in your mystery numbers. And A is equal to 1x to the second. So again, you go x, you place the 1 in front. Now, 1 times 1 is, x. 1 times 1 is 1. The numbers in front of the x need to multiply to what's in front of the x second. The numbers behind the x need to multiply to what the c is. Take the 1's off the front. X plus 5 times x minus 8. So all I've done is rewritten this. Now I go to my F1, F2. So 0 is not going to be an answer here. So minus 5, you get negative 5 for your first answer. And then plus 8, you get positive 8 for your second. Okay, last one. X to the second power minus 5x equals negative 6. Okay? So you have x second, you have x, you need to apply your factoring properties. So there'll be two answers to find because you have x to the second now. Okay, where's 0 at? Don't have him? Okay, we'll get it there. We'll add the 6. Now 6 is a constant, so it can't be added to the 1x to the second. It can't be added to the negative 5x. It just hangs out. So then I put x second, then x, then my constant. So x second's 1, negative 5 is my x, and then 6 is my constant. Remember, a minus means it's a negative value when you put it in. Okay, now your zero's there. Okay, now you do what you did up here. 3 terms, it's a trinomial on the other side. So GCF table. On the other side, there's no x on the end, there's no negative in front. 1, 5, and 6 is 1. So 1 times 6 is 6. It's positive 6, so the signs have to be a match now. So put in either double negative or double positive. It's got to add to negative 5. 1 and 6, that's not it. That's negative 7. 6 divided by 2 is 3. That adds to negative 5. And so you put in the mystery numbers. You're going to put equals 0 behind your parentheses now. Okay, and then a is 1x to the second. Okay, so you go xx, and you take that coefficient 1 and apply it in front of the x's. Now, 1 times 1 should be what's in front of the x to the second. Negative 2 times negative 3 should be the c, and it is. Take the 1's off the front. F1, F2. So x minus 2 could equal 0, or x minus 3 could equal 0. So plus 2, you get 2. Plus 3, you get 3. 2 and 3.